Okay. To make sure that we have a good leader who is able to lead floor debate and also make sure that the Republican agenda that all of us in this room support are able to move forward throughout the process. So all of us from the leadership team know that Pat Strakota is going to do a fantastic job. We have absolute confidence in her ability, and that's why the caucus wanted to take a vote today so that we could showcase that we are moving on from a bad situation, but certainly our agenda is not going to be slowed, nor is our continuing effort to make Wisconsin grow and prosper.
Should Representative Cramer resign altogether?
That's a decision that he's going to have to make for himself. Of course, by the unanimous vote that we saw today, I think our colleagues were definitely convinced that the actions that he took, reprehensible, should not have ever occurred, and certainly something that he should be embarrassed by.
Have you spoken to him?
I have not spoken to him since early Saturday morning when he canceled the meeting that we had planned to have. He then has gone into treatment, as we understand it, and he's unavailable for comment.
Oftentimes there's some kind of investigation that takes place before this serious of an action, removal from a post, would happen. Can you explain what type of witnesses or what you know about the situation that meant that there was no other investigation that took place before this vote happened?
Well, if you know, as to, what we're doing today is we're not removing him from the legislature. We are just taking him out of the position of trust that is really earned inside our caucus. It's not something that is easily earned, and that's why I think that the vote today was that there is credible evidence. We had people who directly saw some of the things that occurred. I think the unanimity of the ballot shows that everybody was convinced that Bill could no longer do the position, and that's why we picked somebody who we know has the highest character, the highest integrity, cares deeply about the team, and will make sure that our agenda can continue to move forward.
Was there a background of concerning behavior?
I think many people in the past had raised concerns about his behavior, but I will say that I never, and I think no one here ever saw the kind of behavior that was witnessed in Washington, D.C. So I think that's why action had to be taken.
Did you witness it?
I did not witness it. I only had it reported to me after it already had occurred. Well, we have 2 days left on the floor. That's the Assembly's plan. I got to make sure I meet with the Majority Leader to confirm all that. But the plan is to be on the floor for only 2 more days. So I presume, knowing most treatment programs, he's probably still going to be in treatment for, 30, 60, 90 days. So he will probably not even be here. If for some reason he is out of treatment earlier, the caucus will talk about any other options that we would take. But today, it's focused on having us turn a new page. He's no longer the Majority Leader. He is still elected. That's a decision by his district. But we're focusing on the next chapter, which is about Pat and moving to the next stage.
What's it like to come into this job under these circumstances?
Well, as I mentioned to the caucus before, I mean, when you woke up this morning, I didn't know that this is where I was going to be this afternoon, but I will step up to the challenge as the Majority Leader. There are days that we have 2 more days left, as the Speaker indicated, and then we have the election process out there, which I've always been very active in the past and will continue to be active in the future.
Is this a symbolic vote as well? I'm sorry.
I think the decision was, first of all, that we wanted to have individuals who, 2 things. I asked the caucus that whoever becomes a Majority Leader has to be engaged, even though they're retiring, and they also have to be willing to help outside the building to make sure we maintain the majority so that our agenda can continue to advance. Both Mary and Pat volunteered, and that's why we had the discussion today. We didn't have an in-depth discussion about that, but I think that the decision that was made was focused on, we don't want to try to take and have a brand new person start over where it would be assumed that they would continue to the next term. We would really like to guarantee that this Majority Leader, whoever it is that would follow in Pat's footsteps, earns the job. We know that the last time Bill stepped in midterm after Representative Souter left, so we didn't want to follow that precedent again. We wanted to have somebody that we knew was going to be up to the job, but also focused on the job, not campaigning for the next term.
Robin, should voters in your caucus should have listened to Chris Capenga at the time he brought up concerns about Representative Cramer last fall?
No, I think that everybody made a choice based on the knowledge that they had. As I said before, I think no one in the caucus, myself included, I never saw the type of behavior that was exhibited, reportedly, because I didn't see it, in Washington, D.C. As all of you know, I didn't support Bill Cramer. I did it for different reasons. But I think that in the end, people made the best choice they could at the time, so I don't criticize anybody for that. But what I want to give credit to my colleagues is unanimously deciding that when somebody makes a major mistake, an embarrassing, reprehensible action, we didn't sit around and let the person stay in their seat or have no repercussions. We took immediate action to say that he no longer can represent our caucus, and that's why the unanimous vote shows he's out.
Did anyone in this caucus witness the behavior?
Yes. I was not there, so I don't know how many, but I have had numerous people say that they saw it, both legislators, others who were at the event, lobbyists. It was not an action that occurred in private.
And they provided their accounts today behind closed doors?
The accounts have been provided both to me privately as I talked to individuals to try to gather the information, and also some of those were discussed today in caucus. I don't know whether that's going to happen. Of course, somebody decided to file a complaint with our Human Resources Department, which is their right. That's all I can say.
Do you think the sexual harassment policy the Assembly has in place are appropriate, that you have good systems in HR to deal with these kinds of complaints?
I assume that we do. We are going to take it one step at a time. Of course, if Representative Cramer comes back, there are other actions that we will have to take to guarantee the safety of anybody who has concerns. And I have had people more than just the victims that had the allegations reported to me. There are others who also are concerned about their own safety. So we will do whatever it takes to guarantee that no one, man, woman, staffer, lobbyist, citizen, has to deal with this kind of a situation again.
Was it communicated to you that he was impaired at the time of this incident?
It was communicated to me that one of the incidents he was impaired, but other times he was not. So it was not simply being in a state of drunkenness. I can't speak for that.
So what could those actions be?
I can't speak to that. It's up to people if they know of something to report it to the appropriate authorities or to bring something forward if they choose to.
So what could those actions be if he returns to the legislature that you take to ensure?
Well, obviously, I am going to make sure that any staff member who would not feel comfortable would not be put in a position where they were having to deal with Representative Cramer if they didn't feel safe. But I think that I'm trying to take it one step at a time, which is we made the right decision today. Representative Cramer is no longer the majority leader. We have a brand new person who's stepping into that role, and I am confident that not just our entire leadership team, but the entire caucus is going to take whatever steps are necessary so that everyone feels safe coming into this building.
If he runs for re-election, would that security primary
We have not had that discussion, but my hope is that Representative Cramer decides not to run for re-election. I think whether or not he stays for the balance of the term, that's his decision to make. But we all know that when we are fortunate enough to have the trust of our constituents to represent them in this beautiful building, it is very easily squandered. And I think what Representative Cramer did was without question reprehensible and something that can't be forgiven. So his district will ultimately decide, but I certainly hope he decides not to run for re-election.
Two more questions, guys. Two more questions in, ladies.
Anything else?
I saw a sign that was in the bar. It says, men, no shirt, no shoes in the service. Women, no shirt, free beer, free pizza. Do you think that's appropriate? It was up for 12 years.
Was that in the Capitol?
No, it was in the bar, in his district.
Oh, I have no idea.
Do you think it's okay to have that in the bar for those belonging to that?
Well, first of all, I don't know that that's true.
I've seen a picture. He told you it was true. He took it down.
Well, it sounds like Dean did the right thing. Well, I don't have anything like that in my business. I certainly, as you know, my chief of staff is a woman, my press secretary is a woman, the woman who runs my factory is fantastic. I mean, I value and respect every single human being, man or woman. And I try as hard as I can. No one's perfect, but I try as hard as I can not to degrade anyone. So, I think the fact that if that was up, that he took it down, I think he deserves credit for doing that. And perhaps somebody should have pointed it out sooner. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.